Chant and dance as much as possible in this human form of life.
Om Ajnanathimiranthasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadha Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadaliye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Hey Mavadivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. Before I begin, I would want to prostrate myself 1,000 times at the lotus feet of Krishna Kripamurti Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, to my beloved spiritual master and all the wonderful glorious disciples of Srila Prabhupada, from whom I have heard today's topic of discussion. So all the inspiring points and all the good points that come up in our discussion, the whole and soul credit goes to our predecessor acharyas. And naturally, because I'm a conditioned jiva, I'm not self-realized, I'm just 25 years of age, I am bound to make mistakes. So before I begin, I would want to make this disclaimer that if I make any mistakes, I beg devotees as Saragrahi Vaishnavas to kindly keep the flaws to the side and just take the essence. Secondly, I want to express my gratitude to His Grace Ram Vijay Prabhu and all the organizers at ISKCON of Round Rock for very kindly inviting me to your Sangha on this most auspicious occasion of Gaura Purnima. And lastly, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude and my dandavats to all the assembled devotees here. I beg for your best wishes and blessings so that I can speak some favorable words in the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in the Madhya Leela of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, draws a very wonderful parallel between Krishna Leela and Gaura Leela. Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Leela Amritapur, Krishna Leela Sukarpur. Chaitanya Leela Amritapur, Krishna Leela Sukarpur. Doi mili hoye sumadhurya, Doi mili hoye sumadhurya. Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanya Lila Amritapur. The pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, oh, they are like condensed milk. And Krishna Lila Sukarpur. The pastimes of Sri Krishna, they are like camphor. So the pastimes of Chaitanya are compared to that of condensed milk, while the pastimes of Sri Krishna are compared to camphor. And what happens when milk and camphor comes together? Doi mili hoye sumadhurya. Oh, when these two pastimes come together, that is Chaitanya Leela and Krishna Leela, the beverage that is formed is extremely sweet.
ప్రభు తమ్ముడు మాట్లాడుతున్నా.
I humbly request devotees if we could mute the mics. Hare Krishna. So Kaviraj Goswami says, when the milk like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes and the camphor like Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes, when they come together, the beverage that is formed is extremely sweet. He says, he continues by saying, Chaitanya Leela Amritapur, Krishna Leela Sukarpur, Doi mili hoye sumadhurya, Doi mili hoye sumadhurya. Sadhu Guru Prasade, Yara Jai Aswade, Sei Jane Madhurya Prachurya. Sei jane madhurya prachurya. Kaviraj Goswami continues by saying, but to understand the pastimes of Chaitanya and the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, Sadhu Guru Prasade, we need the mercy of Sadhu Guru, of a pure Vaishnava. Because we see Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela are not separate pastimes. Where Krishna Leela ends, that is where Gaur Leela begins. Mahaprabhu's Leela and Krishna Leela are only separated by time and space. But as far as personalities are concerned, it is the same personalities who appear 500 years back. Just like we have the example of an ocean and a shore. We see the waters of the ocean, they come and touch the shore. But when they touch the shore, they take with them the sand particles that are there on the shore. And naturally, now these sand particles that were there on the shore, they enter into the ocean. The waves take the sand particles into the ocean. And likewise, again, when the wave strikes the shore, again, a few sand particles are taken, and again, sand particles are taken back to the ocean, which only means the pastimes of Chaitanya and Sri Krishna are like the ocean and the sand particles. The same personalities come and perform the pastimes and they go back. But to understand these pastimes, Kaviraj Goswami says, Sadhu Guru Prasade Yara Jai Aswade. Only if Sadhu Guru shower their mercy, that's the only time we can understand the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sei Jane Madhurya Prachur. And when Sadhu Guru showers his mercy and realization strikes in the heart, then we can understand the sweetness of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes, which only means by our own intellect, by our own endeavor, we may read the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu to the best of our ability. But if there is no mercy of pure Vaishnavas on our head, we may read Chaitanya Charitamrita throughout our life, but we may not understand the details, the esoteric aspects of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And we see this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are so deep that only when Prabhupada and predecessor acharyas, they reveal the details to us, only then we can appreciate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world 500 years back, more than 500 years back, on this most auspicious day. But here there is a question, dear devotees. We know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't appear on any normal day. He appeared on the day of eclipse. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared, it was the day of eclipse. And it was not a solar eclipse, it was a lunar eclipse. Now here the question arises. We all know that eclipse socially is not considered very auspicious, because we see during the time of eclipse, the devotees stay indoors. Many places, the temple is also closed. After the eclipse, we take a bath, and so on and so forth. There are so many rules and regulations that we follow because eclipse socially is not considered auspicious. So here the question arises, if it is socially not considered auspicious, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearing during that time? He could have selected any other time of the year. Why to appear in that time, that day, which is socially not considered very holy or very pure? Now, to answer this, there are various interpretations. And the fundamental idea, the fundamental understanding is whenever the Lord appears, that time is auspicious. Like we find Krishna, he appeared in the jail. So jail is generally not considered a very auspicious place for a baby to be born. But because the Supreme Lord appears, even the jail becomes auspicious. So that is one understanding. But thanks to our predecessor Acharyas, they give a very deep understanding as to why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears during lunar eclipse. We see lunar eclipse in Sanskrit is called as Chandra Grahan. Solar eclipse is called as Surya Grahan, while lunar eclipse is called as Chandra Grahan. So Mahaprabhu is appearing during Chandra Grahan. But here there is a play of words that our predecessor Acharyas do. They say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is appearing during Chandra Grahan because Grahan means to accept. You see in Hindi they say Grahan Karna, means to accept. So Grahan means to accept, and Chandra stands for Chandramukhi Srimati Radharani. So Mahaprabhu through his appearance is showing the world that in this incarnation I have accepted Chandramukhi Radharani's complexion and I have accepted Chandramukhi Radharani's bhav. It is for this reason he appears during Chandra Grahan, that is lunar eclipse. Even though socially not considered auspicious, but to demonstrate this point that in this incarnation, I have Grahan, I have accepted Chandramukhi Radharani's bhav and Chandramukhi Radharani's complexion. So that is why Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Sadhu Guru Prasada Yara Jai Aswade. Only when Sadhu Guru showers his mercy can we understand the esoteric truths beyond Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Likewise, there is another question that arises, dear devotees. We know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes down to taste, to understand from the eyes of Srimati Radharani as to what she feels when Krishna reciprocates to her love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming down in the mood of Radha Bhava Dviti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. He is coming in the mood of Radharani to understand as to what Radharani feels when Krishna reciprocates to her love. Now we have heard this. But here there is a question that arises. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years back. And 500 years back, he has already experienced Radharani's bhav. So then why is he coming again and again? When he has already experienced Radharani's bhav once, what is the need to come again and again? Because we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes once in 8.6 billion years. The Dwapar in which Krishna comes, that subsequent Kali is when Gauranga Mahaprabhu comes. So if 500 years back, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has experienced the mood of Srimati Radharani, then what is the need to come again and again? He has already tasted once. The reason our predecessor Acharyas give is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he comes down, when he descends to this world on this auspicious day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes down with this desire of tasting X units of love of Srimati Radharani. He comes down with this desire of tasting X units, and he stays in this planet for 48 years tasting that X units of love. But now what happens is by the time he goes back home, back to Godhead, Radharani's love for Krishna has increased. And that X units has become X plus 5 units. Now to experience that extra X plus 5, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again comes down as Radharani in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And he again experiences that extra X plus 5. But again, when he goes back, that X plus 5 has become X plus 10. In this way, Radharani's love for Krishna is infinite, is unending. So that is the reason, just like Radharani's love for Krishna is infinite, unending, Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in this world is infinite and unending, because there is no limit, there is no end to how much Srimati Radharani loves Sri Krishna. So every time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes down, he tastes X units of love, and then he feels, okay, now I have understood Radharani. But he goes back to the spiritual world only to understand that he has not understood Radharani. So then again he comes down, and he tastes that love. Then he again comes down, and he again tastes that love. In this way, this keeps on going for the rest of eternity. So if not for Srila Prabhupada and predecessor acharyas, how can we understand this intricate details of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, as to why he appears during Chandragrahan and why he comes again and again? So Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we find that when he descends down to this world, Mahaprabhu doesn't come alone. Just like in this world, we find if a prime minister is going from one country to another country, he doesn't go alone. He goes with his set of cabinet ministers. So if the prime minister of this world is not going alone from one country to another country, how can the supreme prime minister come down to this world all alone? When the so-called presidents and prime minister needs associates to help him, what to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears down in this world, he brings along with himself his near and dear associates who can understand his mood and who can help him taste the love of Srimati Radharani. And of the various wonderful associates that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has, there is one such associate, dear devotees, who is very, very, very dear to the heart of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He is none other than Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta is so dear to the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that when Nimai was small, when Nimai was in Nadia, Murari Gupta was 1 year senior to Nimai. So they were all in school studying, but Murari Gupta was 1 year older to Nimai. And as we know, Nimai, when he was small, he was very mischievous, very naughty. Just like Krishna in Vrindavan was extremely naughty. Krishna in Vrindavan, we find he would steal, he would lie, he would break pots. And likewise, when Nimai was small, he had the same mood as that of Krishna. So Murari Gupta, because he was 1 year senior, he was close to Nimai, but Nimai, with his friends, he would take this advantage and he would mock and make fun of Murari Gupta. Because Murari Gupta, when he would speak, he would make various hand gestures. He was very expressive when he would speak. So Nimai, with his friends, he would call all his friends and he would act like Murari Gupta. He would do all the hand gestures. He would walk like Murari Gupta. He would talk like Murari Gupta. And the friends would just laugh when they would see Nimai this way. And Chaitanya Bhagavat also describes Murari Gupta had this habit that when he would speak, he would move his head. You see, many people, when they speak, they're very expressive. And naturally, they have this habit of moving their head. So Murari Gupta was like that. When he would speak, he would move his head. So Nimai would take this advantage. And wherever Murari Gupta would be there, he would call all his friends and he would enact like Murari Gupta by moving his head, by moving his hands, by walking like him, by talking like him. And Murari Gupta couldn't do anything because Nimai was there with all his friends. So Murari Gupta wouldn't say anything. And as far as profession is concerned, as far as occupation is concerned, Murari Gupta, we know, was a physician, is a doctor. So when he was about to become a doctor, when he was studying to become a doctor, he would walk on the streets of Nadia. And Nimai was so mischievous that he would loudly say, "Oh, look, the future doctor of Nadia is going. Let's go and trouble him. Let's go and pull his leg." And all the friends would go and just trouble and harass Murari Gupta. And Murari Gupta would feel, then, "My dear Lord, why are you doing this? What wrong did I do to you?" And Nimai would just make fun of Murari Gupta day in and day out. So as we mentioned, that as far as profession is concerned, Murari Gupta later turned out to be a proper doctor. He became a Vaidyaraj, a proper physician. But he was not like the doctors of this world. One very famous Sanskrit poet, he sarcastically glorifies the doctors of this world. He says, Vaidyaraja namastubhyam Yamaraja sahodara. He says, all glories to the doctors. Vaidyaraj. Why? Yamaraja sahodara. Because they are the friends of Yamaraj. We know why. So he's sarcastically glorifying the doctors. He says, Vaidyaraja namastubhyam Yamaraja sahodara. But there is a difference. Yamatu harati prana. Yamaraj takes life away, but tutva pranan dhanani cha. You take the life away and you also take wealth away. So very sarcastically he glorifies the so-called doctors of this world. But Murari Gupta was not a doctor like this. He would treat selflessly. He would not have anything in demand, no desire, no aspiration for any material wealth. When the patients would come to Murari Gupta would give them nice Ayurvedic medicines and treat their body. As far as senses are concerned, he would give the prasad of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And as far as mind and chitta, as far as mind and consciousness is concerned, he would give them the unparalleled gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he was not just a doctor who was treating the body. He was not just a doctor who was treating Deha Rog, but he was also treating Bhava Rog. He was not just treating the different limbs of the body, but he was such a doctor who was treating the disease of birth, death, old age. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. And that is the thing that would make Murari Gupta a perfect doctor. I remember when His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, when he came to Atlanta, and he was speaking to His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, who was a doctor, who was a devotee doctor. So when Jayapataka Maharaj was speaking to Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, somehow the conversation, it came, and Adi Gadadhar Prabhu was telling Maharaj that how he does treatment for his patients. And Jayapataka Maharaj there gave such a beautiful formula in the mood of Murari Gupta. He gave such a beautiful formula. He told His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu that the next time the patient comes to you, you do all the treatment for the body, but also start something called as coordination exercise. You tell them that this is a coordination exercise just to see whether all the limbs are working fine. And he told Prabhu that when the patients are there with you, tell them that the coordination exercises, you have to take your finger and you have to keep the finger to your knee and to your thigh. Knee, thigh, knee, thigh, knee, thigh. And he said, this is a coordination exercise. As far as medical science is concerned, there is no exercise like this. But Jayapataka Maharaj, in the mood of Murari Gupta, he told Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, tell them this is coordination exercise. Knee, thigh, knee, thigh. And even now when the patients come to His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, he does this. So many of the patients, they don't even know who Nityananda Prabhu is. But because of Jayapataka Maharaj's spiritual realizations in the mood of Murari Gupta, so many in Atlanta area are getting benefited. So this is what makes a doctor perfect. Not just treating the body, but treating Bhava Rog. So Murari Gupta was like this. So once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Murari Gupta, and he said, Murari, that day is not far when I'll expose you in front of everyone. You have that wealth, that treasure, which jivas aspire for. When Murari Gupta heard this, he said, my dear Lord, I do not have anything. I absolutely do not have anything. You know me. I don't have anything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh Murari, Murari means Krishna. He said, Murari, you have the Supreme Lord Krishna, that is Murari Gupta, that is hidden in your heart. Gupta means hidden and Murari means Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your name is Murari Gupta because you have Murari, Sri Krishna, Gupta in the core of your heart. And this is the prized possession which everyone is aspiring for, which Murari Gupta already had. And the Supreme Lord, being Paramatma, he understood this. So that is the reason he would call him as Murari Gupta, because in his heart, in his chitta, Murari was Gupta in a hidden form. So Murari Gupta, being very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they were sitting, and Murari Gupta came to that place, and he offered his obeisances. He offered his dandavat first to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this, he said, Murari, you're offering dandavat to me first and not to Nityananda Prabhu? Is there a reason behind it? Is there a particular reason? Murari Gupta said, my dear Lord, you are inspiring as Paramatma in my heart. I do not have any free will. You are inspiring as Paramatma in my heart. And the way you are inspiring, that is the way I am offering obeisances, my dear Lord. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, Mahaprabhu did not speak anything. But that night, when Murari Gupta went to sleep, Nimai came in the dream of Murari Gupta. And Nimai was walking, and ahead of Nimai was Nityananda Prabhu. And when Nityananda Prabhu turned, he just turned around and he took the form of Balaram. Nityananda Prabhu turned into Nityananda Ram, Balaram. And Vrindavan Das Thakur describes that Nityananda Ram, Balaram was so effulgent that it would put the sun to shame. He was radiating so much that thousands upon thousands of moons were nowhere in comparison to Nityananda Balaram. He was radiating so much that thousands upon thousands of cupids would fall down in shame in front of the beauty of Nityananda Ram. Nityananda Balaram was so powerful. He was more powerful than all the mountains put together. Nityananda Balaram was wearing a blue dhoti. He was wearing a blue turban. He was having a plow in his left hand, and tucked to his waist was a nice bugle. And Nityananda Ram was walking, and Nimai, in the dream, he tells Murari Gupta, Murari, Nityananda is my older brother, and he is not different from Balaram. And Nityananda, as we know, is an embodiment of Guru Tattva. He is Adi Guru Nityananda Ram. So Nimai tells Murari Gupta that next time when you see both of us, first offer your obeisances to Nitai, because he is Guru Tattva. Then offer your obeisances to me. So that's a lesson, not just for Murari Gupta, but for all the practicing sadhakas. When there is Krishna, the deity form, and Sri Guru, we first offer our obeisances to Sri Guru, who is not different from Nityananda Ram. And then we proceed to offer our obeisances to the Supreme Lord. So the next day when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were sitting, Murari Gupta came. And this time he offered his obeisances first to Nityananda Prabhu, and then he offered his obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a big smile on his face. Nityananda Prabhu was completely clueless because this exchange happened in the dream. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw that Murari Gupta took this instruction to his heart, he had a big smile on his face. Another time, our Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like every day in the morning, in most of the temples we find 8 o'clock morning, there is Bhagavatam class. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was reading Bhagavatam. And when he was reading Bhagavatam, the appearance, the pastime of Varahadev came. When the pastime of Varahadev came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so ecstatic that in no time, Gauranga Mahaprabhu increased in size and became as gigantic, as huge, as large as Varahadev. And he was running the streets of Nadia, crying, Sukara, Sukara, Sukara. Sukara means a wild boar. He was running in the streets of Nadia in the mood of Varahadev. Vasati dashana shikhare dharani tavalagna shashini kalanka kalevani magna keshavadrita sukara rupa jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare. Shri Varahadev Bhagavan ki jai. Srila Jayadev Goswami in Dashavatar, he glorifies Sukara Rupa, which means Varahadev. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just by hearing about Varahadev from Srimad Bhagavatam, was running madly, transcendently intoxicated in the streets of Nadia, crying Sukara, Sukara, Sukara. And he went to the house of Murari Gupta. And he was knocking at the door of Murari Gupta. Murari, open the door. Murari, open the door. And Murari opened the door. And a huge wild boar was standing in front of him. Now, we have heard the pastime of Varahadev. But just to give an estimation of how gigantic Varahadev was, Bilva Mangala Thakur comes to our rescue. He gives an approximation as to how huge Varahadev was. Bilva Mangala Thakur in his work, he says, Yetro marandra paripurti vibhava daksha Varaha janmani babu haramis samudra Tam namanath aravinda drisham yashoda Panir dvayantam snapayam babuha. Bilva Mangala Thakur says, Yat Roma Randra Paripurti Vibhava Daksha. So he's describing the Roma, the hair pore of Varahadev. He's saying, what is the size of the hair pore of Varahadev? Yat Roma Randra Paripurti Vibhava Daksha Varaha Janmani Babuha Ramis Samudra. He says, if the waters of all the oceans, not just of this planet, but the waters of all the planets of all the cosmic manifestation, if the waters of all the cosmic manifestation is brought into one place, and if they're poured into one hair pore of Varahadev, not all hair pores, one hair pore. Bilva Mangala Thakur says the size of his hair pore is so gigantic that even if waters of complete cosmic manifestation is brought and poured, still it will not overflow. That is the size of one hair pore of Varahadev. Now we can imagine if that is the size of the hair pore, how gigantic his size would have been. And that too running in the streets of Nadia. But Bilva Mangala Thakur says, when Varahadev appears, all the waters, if they are brought and they are poured into the hair pore, still it doesn't overflow. But that same Lord, when he comes as Krishna, now see the transformation. When that same Lord, he comes as Shri Krishna, Tam nama natha aravinda drisham yashoda panir dvayantam snapayam babuha. Bilva Mangala Thakur says, when that same Varaha comes as Krishna, his bath is done in one palmful of water. That is the contradiction. He says, that Supreme Lord as Varahadev, all the ocean waters cannot overflow in his one hair pore. But that same Lord, when he comes as Krishna, one palmful of water Yashoda Mai puts and Krishna's bath is done. He's completely satisfied. So he says, how can we understand the Supreme Lord? There is complete transformation between Varahadev and Krishna. It's the same water, but the size has completely transformed. So that Varahadev, whose hair pore is so gigantic, is running now in the streets of Nadia. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who has assumed that mood and is now running in the streets. And he goes to Murari Gupta. And Murari Gupta, when he sees Varahadev, he understands that it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because from where will Varahadev come in Nadia? So he understands that it is my Nima, it is my Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who has taken this form of Varahadev. And Varahadev was roaring. So much so that he, in the mood of a wild boar, he took the water pot of Murari Gupta. Because we know when he came as Varaha, with his tusk, with his indentation, he lifted Mother Earth. So in that similar mood, there was no Mother Earth nearby. So in the mood of Varahadev, he lifted the water pot and was roaring, Sukara, Sukara, Sukara. And Murari Gupta was seeing this amazing transformation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Murari Gupta understood in the core of his heart that it is the same Gauranga. That same Gauranga in Dwapari comes as Krishna, and in the previous ages, he comes by taking different forms. And when the Supreme Lord came as Varahadev, he told Varahadev that those who say they are my devotees, they are not actually my devotees. But those who say they are the devotees of my devotees, they are my real devotees. Bhakter Bhakta Janapriya. The mood of being the servant of the servant of the servant. That is what attracts Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he came as Varahadev, he told Murari Gupta that those who say they are my devotees, I respect them. But those who say they are the devotees of my devotees, I shower profusely my mercy upon them. So we see, dear devotees, how fortunate we are. We have Srila Prabhupada, who is the servant of Saraswati Thakur. We have our Sri Guru, who is the servant of Srila Prabhupada. And then we are there. So if we simply serve our Sri Guru, we get the benefit of serving in the mood of the servant, of the servant, of the servant. We don't have to do anything extraordinary. We don't have to do anything special. As Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj would time and again, he would say that if a list of devotees is made, if there is a piece of paper and a list of devotees are made, different names are written, a genuine devotee is someone who will always aspire that his name is there on the last. Let all devotees be above me, but my name should be last. In bhakti, the more below our name is, the faster we get the mercy of Gauranga. But if we try to skip the line and on our own endeavor, if we try to get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will never get it. But the more behind we are in the line, the faster we will get mercy. In the present day, the more ahead we are in line, the faster our work gets done. But in the spiritual world, it doesn't work this way. The more behind we are on the list, the faster we get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So Mahaprabhu in the mood of Varaha was telling all this to Murari Gupta. And then he said, but those people who offend my devotees, those who do Vaishnava Aparad, I burn them into ashes just through my vision. Doesn't mind. I will not even mind if that personality is my own child. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the example. He said, when I came as Varahadev in the previous Yuga, just by my touch with Bhumi Devi, with Mother Earth, there was a child that was born. And he was Narakasur, Bhaumasur. But later in the pastime, we find that Bhaumasur became so inimical by his association with King Vena that he not just became inimical to the Supreme Lord, but he did Vaishnava Aparad so much that the Supreme Lord, as Sri Krishna, came and killed him. So the Lord is teaching by example that even if that personality is my own son, if he does Vaishnava Aparad, I will not spare him. But if someone serves in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant, then I will shower my profuse mercy upon that personality. And dear devotees, this is the fundamental teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gopi bhartor padakamalayyor das 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 anudas. Serving our Gurujan in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. So in this way, Murari Gupta would have beautiful exchanges with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In another instance, Shivananda Sen once was feeding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shivananda Sen is another very dear associate of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So once he was feeding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it so happened that by mistake, he had rice, but he mixed a lot of ghee in that rice. There was no sabji, no roti, no dal, just rice with lots of ghee. And Shivananda Sen did not understand that there is a lot of ghee. And he directly went and offered it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this, Mahaprabhu even once did not complain. He did not say, hey, there is so much ghee, there is no chapati, there is no sabji, there is no dal, there is no pakoda, there is no chole, there is none of these things. I'm sorry, I know this is the wrong day to give this example, but that's what happened. Shivananda Sen, he just gave rice and lots of ghee mixed. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually had it. But it so happened that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had that rice mixed with lots of ghee, the next day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his stomach was paining because there was complete indigestion. This would happen with anyone if you have a lot of ghee. So Mahaprabhu's stomach was really paining. And he went to Murari Gupta because Murari Gupta was the doctor. And he explained to Murari Gupta that, oh Murari, yesterday I was in the house of Shivananda Sen. And Shivananda Sen, he gave me rice, but somehow there was a lot of ghee in it. So that is the reason my stomach is paining. Now, dear devotees, there is a very interesting point here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not behind what we are offering. He is behind the intention with which we are offering. What is the mood that we are backing up with? It can be just one leaf. It can just be one glass of water. It can be just one fruit. Or it can be just one flower. Or in this case, it can be rice mixed with lots of ghee. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not here to see what is there in the menu. Whether it is Chappan Bhog or whether it is 11 dishes or whether it is 22 dishes. Mahaprabhu doesn't see all these things. Mahaprabhu sees what is the intention behind which the devotees are offering. He sees the heart. He can understand our intentions. Sri Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, he makes the same point. He says, Manye dhana bijana rupa tapa shrutojas teja prabhava bala paurusha buddhi yoga naradhanai bhavanti parasya pumsa bhaktya tutoshna bhagavan gajayotapaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 9. Prahlad Siksha. Prahlad Maharaj says, Manye, I consider what? Manye dhana, wealth. Abhijana, aristocratic birth. Manye dhana abhijana, rupa, beauty. Tapa, austerity. Tejas, effulgence. Manye dhana abhijana, rupa, tapa, shruta, education, knowing lots of Vedas. Manye dhana abhijana, rupa, tapa, shruta, ojas, teja, effulgence, bala, strength, paurusha, buddhi, intelligence, and yoga, lots of yogic postures. He says all of this either individually or put together. Naradhanai bhavanti parasya pumsam. Krishna doesn't get attracted. One may be very intelligent, very scholarly, very rich, comes in a very aristocratic birth, may be very famous, has all the name, fame, recognition, is very beautiful, very handsome, is very smart, is very strong. One may have all these qualities, but Prahlad Maharaj says Krishna doesn't get attracted at all. Whether one quality or whether all qualities put together, he says Naradhana, Krishna doesn't get attracted. So we may be very scholarly or we may have a lot of wealth, but Krishna doesn't get attracted by those things. So naturally the question arises, what is Krishna looking out for? And what is that thing that attracts Krishna's heart? Bhaktya tutoshna bhagavan gajayutapaya. Prahlad Maharaj says it is only and only bhakti that attracts Krishna's heart. And what is the example that he gives? Gajayutapaya, Gajendra. Gajendra was a pashu, he was an animal. He did not have any of these things. But just by offering one flower, Krishna sold himself to him. It is believed, our acharyas say that day when Gajendra offered the flower, the Supreme Lord Krishna, he flew faster than even Garuda. Garuda is very fast, but to protect his own devotee, that day Krishna flew faster than Garuda. Why? Because he had bhakti in his heart. So Prahlad Maharaj says, where there is bhakti, Krishna accepts it. But where there is no bhakti, Krishna will not accept. Bhakti is like that one. We may do all the offerings, we may have all the abilities, but they are all like zeros. Till the time there is no one preceding the zero, it doesn't make any sense. Bhakti, dear devotees, is that one. If there is bhakti plus anything, Krishna accepts. If there is no bhakti and we offer whatever we can, Krishna just doesn't accept it. Likewise, Vrindavan Das Thakur also in Chaitanya Bhagavat, in the pastime of Kolavecha Sridhar, he makes the same point. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Kolavecha seva kara dekhya bhagya sima, Brahma shiva kandhe yara dekhiya mahima, dhane jane panditye Krishna nahi pai, kevala bhaktira vasa Chaitanya Gosai. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Dhana, our wealth, Jana, our followers, Dhane jana panditya, our intelligence, Krishna nahi paye. He says, Dhane jane panditya, Krishna nahi paye, kevala bhakti ravasa. It is only bhakti that attracts Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nothing else. Kevala bhakti ravasa Chaitanya Gosai. Gosai Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is attracted whole and soul only by the performance of bhakti. So Shivananda Sen, when he offered rice mixed with lots of ghee, there was bhakti in it. And that is the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Murari Gupta and he explained everything. And Murari Gupta thought to himself, how can I treat the Supreme Lord? His body is Sachitananda. His body is transcendental. How can I treat the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord? So Murari Gupta fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, my dear Lord, I have all the treatment for people of this world, but you are not of this world. And naturally, this treatment will not be applicable for you. So my dear Lord, you yourself, please tell me, what is the treatment for this? So when Murari Gupta asked this question to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the only treatment is I have to consume water, but not any normal water, not mineral water or spring water. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the water that I have to consume is the water that you have tasted, Murari. The water that is there in your kamandalu, in your water pot, that is the water that will treat my indigestion. So Murari Gupta said, my dear Lord, how can you take this? This is my uchishta, this is my jutha, and you're the Supreme Lord. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would not hear to Murari Gupta. And even before Murari Gupta could react, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stretched his arm. He took the water pot of Murari Gupta and he started drinking from the water pot of Murari Gupta. So much so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became so ecstatic that his stomach pain was completely gone. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invited all the residents of Nadia. He invited all the residents of Nadia and said, please come and have the water from the water pot of Murari Gupta. If anyone wants Krishna Prem, please have water from the water pot of Murari Gupta. And Murari Gupta was thinking, my dear Lord, you are the Supreme Lord and you have taken this water. And now you are asking other associates to take this jutha water of mine, my dear Lord. Why are you doing this? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was so ecstatic that he got all the associates and everyone one by one, they were drinking this water of Murari Gupta. Kaviraj Goswami in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describes that there are three things that act as catalyst for advancement in bhakti. If any sadhaka wants to advance rapidly in bhakti, there are easy tips and tricks that Kaviraj Goswami describes. What are the three things? Bhakta pada dhuli ara bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesha tini mahabal. Kaviraj Goswami describes bhakta pada dhuli, the dust of the lotus feet of pure Vaishnavas. Bhakta pada jal, the water that has washed the lotus feet of pure Vaishnavas, that is Charnamrit. And third, bhakta bhukta avashesha, the avashesh, the remnants, that is the food remnants and the water remnants. Tini mahabal, these three are so powerful that if we have any one of them or all three of them put together, one can make rapid advancement on this path of bhakti. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through this pastime, was demonstrating. He was drinking himself, being the Supreme Lord, he was drinking the water of Murari Gupta. And after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's indigestion, his stomach pain was completely done. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have a very strong connection with Murari Gupta. And we all know Murari Gupta, as far as occupation is concerned, he was a doctor. But as far as the eternal pastimes are concerned, Murari Gupta is none other than Hanuman. He is none other than the same Hanuman who was there in the pastimes of Prabhu Sri Ram. We find that the next major festival that is upcoming is Ram Navami. So we are trying to build both Gaur Purnima and Ram Navami together. So Murari Gupta is none other than Hanuman, the dear servant of Prabhu Sri Ram. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went up to him and said, Murari, Instead of chanting Ram, Ram, can you chant the Hare Krishna mantra? Can you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare? Murari, can you chant this? So Murari Gupta said, my dear Lord, why are you asking me to switch? And the Supreme Lord said that is because Supreme Lord as Ram is exalted. He is the Supreme Lord. But Sri Krishna has 4 more qualities that no one else possesses. What are those four qualities? First is Rupa Madhuri, Krishna's beautiful form. Krishna and Vrindavan, dear devotees, was so attractive that everyone would just get enamored by the beauty of Sri Krishna. When the fruit seller, she came to Vrindavan, she came with a basket of fruits and she was loudly chanting. She was saying, Sep lelo, aam lelo, banana lelo, kela lelo. She was loudly chanting this way. But then finally, when she saw Krishna, it was no longer Sep lelo, aam lelo. It became Govind lelo, Damodar lelo, Madhav lelo, Govind lelo, Damodar lelo, Madhav lelo. She became so enamored seeing the beauty of Krishna that she forgot what she was speaking. And loudly she was chanting, Govinda Damodhar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodhar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodhar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodhar Madhaveti. The fruit seller forgot why she came to Vrindavan, just looking at the beauty of Krishna and was chanting Govinda Damodhara Madhaveti. So much so that our acharyas say that was the last day she was seen in Vrindavan. From the next day onwards, no one saw where she went. No one knew any whereabouts of her, just by looking at the beauty of Sri Krishna. That is Krishna's Rupa Madhuri. The second quality that Krishna possesses, which no one else possesses, is Venu Madhuri. Krishna plays the flute. Srila Rupa Goswami says, Tribhanga Deha Sundaram Nakhadyuti Sudhakaram Amulya Ratna Bhushanam Namami Nandanandanam. The Supreme Lord as Tribhang Lalit Shyam Sundar beautifully plays the flute. And when Krishna plays the flute, the Yamuna flows backwards. Just by one note of Sri Krishna, the Yamuna flows backwards. And when we play the flute, leave alone the neighbors, our own family members have a problem when we play the flute. But when Krishna plays the flute, Yamuna is flowing backwards. So much so that whole of Vrindavan is completely stunned. It's almost as if the whole of Vrindavan is a painted picture. The cows forget to give milk. The cows forget to chew on the grass. The deers are stunned looking at Krishna. The parrots and the cuckoos are all looking at Krishna. There is complete silence just by one note of Krishna's flute. This is Venu Madhuri. The third that Krishna possesses is Leela Madhuri, the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. We find that even Ramchandra performs his pastimes. But when Krishna performs his pastimes, they're very, very, very sweet. When Krishna was just 2.5 years old, the famous Mrud Bhakshan Leela, Krishna ate mud. And when Balaram went and complained to Krishna, when Balaram went and complained to Mother Yashoda, Yashoda came and she asked, Oh Lala, did you eat dirt? Did you eat mud? And Krishna didn't speak anything because that time the mud was there in Krishna's mouth. So when Maya Yashoda was asking questions, Krishna at that time with his tongue was trying to wipe all the corners. He was trying to wipe all corners so that Maya Yashoda doesn't get to know. So Maya Yashoda was asking, did you eat dirt? Balaram is saying, you ate dirt? And Krishna didn't speak anything. But finally, when Krishna was convinced that there was no particle of dirt, no particle of mud in his mouth, he opened his mouth and loudly he proclaimed, Naham bhakshitavan ambe sarva mithyabhi samshaya. Krishna says, my dear Maya, oh Maya Yashoda, Naham bhakshitavan ambe. I have not eaten dirt. The absolute truth is lying. I repeat my statement, dear devotees. The absolute truth is lying here. He says, Naham bhakshitavanambe. I have not eaten dirt. Sarve mithya bhi samshaya. Everyone is just spreading rumors. Balaram, Baldav is just spreading rumors. He lost a match with me. We were playing a game and he lost a match with me. And that is the reason he's angry and he's taking your side and he's complaining it to you. My dear Lord, my dear mother, I have not eaten anything. So this is the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes. Prabhu Sri Ram in Chitrakoot doesn't eat mud, but it is only Krishna and Vrindavan who eats the mud of Brajadham. So that is Leela Madhuri. And finally, we have Prema Madhuri. Krishna, through his pastimes, he gives prema to those who are qualified. He follows the principle of Ye Yathamam Prapadhyante. Those who are qualified, Krishna gives prema. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, you see, Krishna is having these four qualities that Prabhu Sri Ram doesn't have. And naturally, Krishna and his name are not different. So you should chant the name of Sri Krishna because it has more power than the name of Prabhu Sri Ram. So Murari Gupta agreed. And he went home. And that night he was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. But somehow Murari Gupta would not feel ecstasy. He would feel ecstasy in the second half because there was more Ram Nam there. He would feel more ecstasy. Fortunately, he didn't go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, my dear Lord, can I just chant the second half? I'm feeling more ecstasy there. Can I just chant the second half? So all throughout the night, he was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but he was not feeling ecstatic. So the next day morning, he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, can you give me permission so that I can give up my body, so that I can commit suicide? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was surprised. He said, why do you want to do that, Murari? Why do you want to give up your life? Murari said, my dear Lord, you gave me an instruction to chant the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I am chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but I am not getting ecstatic. But I cannot disobey your orders. At the same time, I cannot give up the lotus feet of Prabhu Sri Ram. How much ever I chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, my mind just goes back to the lotus feet of Prabhu Sri Ram. So I cannot give up Ram Bhakti. At the same time, I cannot disobey your instructions. So naturally, I have to give up my life because I can't follow either of the instructions properly. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, Mahaprabhu smiled and he said, Murari, for you there is a concession. You can chant Ram Nam because you eternally are the servant of Prabhu Sri Ram. And Hanuman, as we know, chants the name of Ram and not the name of Sri Krishna. He gives his respect to Sri Krishna, but his heart beats for Prabhu Sri Ram. So Murari Gupta, from that day, when he heard the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became so ecstatic that loudly he was chanting, Jai Shri Ram, Prabhu Sri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. He was getting so ecstatic chanting the names of Prabhu Sri Ram. And as we know, during the Mahaprakash Leela, as Vrindavan Das Thakur describes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would show different forms to different associates. Based on their bhav, based on their inclination, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Mahaprakash Leela, would show that form. So when it came to Murari Gupta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Murari, you like Prabhu Sri Ram and you're eternally Hanuman. For you, I will show you the form of Prabhu Sri Ram. And in no time, Gaur Sundar transformed into Ram Sundar. The golden body transformed into parrot like green color. The kartals and the mridangas were gone. In one hand was a bow, another hand was arrow, behind was quiver. There was Lakshman to one side, there was Sita Maya to one side. And when Murari Gupta, in the mood of Hanuman, he saw this, he was loudly chanting, Jai Shri Ram, Prabhu Sri Ram. And he looked at Sri Ram, who's not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, my dear Lord, please instruct me. Do you want me to fly and bring the Sanjeevani herbs? Do you want me to rescue Mother Sita? My dear Lord, please give me an instruction. For you, Hanuman is there at your service. It is the same Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but for different associates, Gauranga was showing different forms. One day, Murari Gupta was feeling to himself, he was thinking that the final pastimes of the Supreme Lord are always very painful for a devotee. We find in the pastimes of Ram, there was separation between Maya Sita and Prabhu Sri Ram. In the pastimes of Krishna, because of Sambha's prank, the whole Yaduvamshas got destroyed. Madhyam Kulavinashakam, the whole Yaduvamshas got destroyed. So Murari Gupta was thinking to himself, the final pastimes of the Lord are very painful. I do not want to stay till that time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is about to wrap up his pastimes. Better I give up my life before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departs. So secretly, Murari Gupta, he brought a saw to kill himself. And no one knew about this. He brought a saw and he thought to himself that next day I will give up my life so that I don't have to see the final pastimes of Gauranga. But next day morning, when it was sunrise, there was a knock at the door. Murari Gupta opened and it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Murari Gupta was surprised. He said, Mahaprabhu, you are here at this time? How can I serve you? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Murari, will you do anything that I ask you for? Murari said, of course, my dear Lord. Whatever you ask for, this servant is ever ready to serve you. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, give me the saw. He said, give me the saw. So when Murari Gupta heard this, initially Murari Gupta acted. He said, saw? There is no saw, my dear Lord. I think you would have made a mistake. There is no saw in my house. He tried to manipulate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, where is the saw? Give me the saw. Now finally he went inside and placed the saw in the hand of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, why did you even think of doing this? Murari Gupta said, my dear Lord, I cannot see the final pastimes of yours. As Ram and as Krishna I have seen, they're very painful. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he heard this, he understood the sincere desire of Murari. He said, don't worry, I will give you full protection. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma kshashvat shantim nigachhati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 text 31. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I have boldly declared that my devotee never perishes. I will give you full protection, O Murari, don't worry. So then Murari Gupta gave up the idea of giving up his life. So in this way we find, dear devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Murari Gupta were so dear to each other. Very, very close associates. And time and again we find in all of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, if there is a fundamental theme, whether it is Chaitanya Charitamrita, whether it is Chaitanya Bhagavat, whether it is Chaitanya Mangal, whether it is Murari Gupta's own work. Murari Gupta also wrote a biography on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called as Chaitanya Charit Mahakavya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Charit Mahakavya. It is also known as the Kadcha of Murari Gupta, the diary of Murari Gupta. So whether it is Murari Gupta's work or Swarup Damodar's work or any of Mahaprabhu's associates, the fundamental point that we find is Mahaprabhu constantly would stress on the holy name. Even for Murari Gupta, we find, even though he was a Ram Bhakta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initially asked them to chant the holy name. And Mahaprabhu asked them to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, dear devotees, this will be last few minutes of our discussion. And at this point, there is a very important question that comes up. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have asked his associates, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have given the world the mantra that is Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe. He could have given that. Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare? Mahaprabhu could have given the Radhe Krishna mantra, just like in Vrindavan we find the Nimbarkis chant that mantra. But Mahaprabhu, he doesn't give that mantra, he gives the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And dear devotees, there is a very, 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 very deep significance behind this. Dhyan Chandra Goswami, one of the predecessor acharyas, in his work called as Gaur Govind Archan Smaran Padati, he answers this question. He says, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting Hare Krishna and not Radhe Krishna? And Dhyan Chandra gives such a wonderful explanation. He says that now it is a known fact that when we chant the name of Radharani, Krishna is satisfied. And when we chant the name of Krishna, Radharani is satisfied. We all would have heard this in various classes. When the name of Radhika is chanted, Krishna is satisfied. And the name of Krishna is chanted, Radharani is satisfied. So now Dhyan Chandra Goswami comments by saying, the Manjaris who are there, the maid servants of Srimati Radharani, the near and dear maid servants like Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, the maid servants who are there, who are called as Manjaris, Dhyan Chandra Goswami says the Manjaris have a very secret love for Sri Krishna. It is a very less known fact, but the Manjaris, even though they are the maid servant of Radharani, they have a very secret love for Sri Krishna. So when the Manjaris are chanting, they chant the name of Krishna, because by chanting the name of Krishna, Radharani gets happy. But now, because their love for Krishna is secretive, it is hidden, it is Gupta, they cannot outrightly say Radhe. Because if they say Radhe, everyone will come to know, Manjaris, they have secret love for Sri Krishna. Now it's a secretive affair. So Manjaris on purpose, they don't say Radharani, but to keep their love under wraps, to keep their love hidden, they on purpose say Hare. Does that make sense, dear devotees? The Manjaris could have said Radhe also, but if they say Radhe, everyone will get to know that, oh, the Manjaris also have some secret affinity for Krishna. And the Manjaris don't want that. So to keep their love under wraps, to keep their love hidden so that no one gets to know, they on purpose say Hare. When they say Hare, it is the same meaning of Radharani, but Krishna gets happiness. And Krishna understands that the Manjaris have a secret love for him. So that the outside world doesn't get to know, and only Krishna gets to know, on purpose, they say Hare and not Radhe. And this is the reason, dear devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not chant Radhe Krishna, but chanted Hare Krishna, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came down to give Manjari Bhav to this world. In the Adi Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 1, text 4, Kaviraj Goswami very beautifully describes Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunaya Avatirana Kalau Samarpaitum Unnata Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam. Adi Leela, chapter 1, text 4. He says Mahaprabhu is coming down to give Unnata Ujjval Ras, Madhuri Ras. And in Madhuri Ras, streamlined Manjari Bhav. The service of being the maid servants of Srimati Radharani. This is the reason, this is the internal reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming down. And through the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we can attain this Manjari Bhav, because we find this Mahamantra is a secret expression of the love that Manjaris have. So naturally, when we also chant this Mahamantra, we will also someday get the service of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet in the mood of the Manjaris. It is for this reason, dear devotees, Mahaprabhu doesn't chant Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, but in fact chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, because he comes down to give Manjari Bhav and not any other Bhav. And this holy name is an expression of love. It's a hidden expression of love that the Manjaris have for Sri Krishna. So through the holy name, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving Manjari Bhav. Now the second thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving through the holy name is there in our beads, dear devotees. Now every day when we chant, we find there are 108 beads that we have. And these 108 beads, they have different interpretations. And one of the famous interpretations is the 108 beads denote the 108 principal Upanishads. And the essence of 108 principal Upanishads is Sri Krishna, who is there on the top. That is one interpretation. But the more deeper understanding is the 108 beads denote the 108 principal Braja Gopis. And the first 8, you see, for those who are initiated, there will always be a demarcation. The first 8 denotes the principal Braja Gopis in the form of Lalita, Vishakha, Indulekha, Chitra, Rangadevi, Sudevi, etc. So the first 8 denote the Ashtasakhis, and the remaining 100 denote the other Braja Gopis. And this whole 108 beads, dear devotees, is nothing but the Ras Mandal. Because there is Krishna here and there are 108 Braja Gopis, which means Every day, the chanting that we are doing, every round is none other than the rasa dance that Krishna performs. Every round is none other than the rasa dance. And now, Dwaraka Krishna doesn't perform the rasa dance. Mathura Krishna doesn't perform the rasa dance. It is only Vrindavan Krishna who performs the rasa dance. Now, what is the proof for this? The proof is there in the beads that we have. There are 108 beads. These are the 8 principal gopis. This is Sri Krishna, and Vrindavan Krishna means there has to be some proof. What is the proof? This is the proof. This is called as the peacock feather of Sri Krishna. This is Sri Krishna, and this is the peacock feather of Sri Krishna. And Krishna wears peacock feather only in Braj Dham. So this is the second point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving through the holy name. He is giving us Vrindavan Krishna who is having this peacock feather. And finally, dear devotees, the third point that Mahaprabhu is giving through the holy name, through the means of the holy name, is wherever there is Vrindavan Krishna and the Braja Gopis, that place has to be Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja padam ekam na gacchati. In the Uddha Sandesh, Krishna says that he doesn't keep a step outside of Vrindavan. So naturally, there is Krishna, there is peacock feather, which means this place is none other than Vrindavan Dham. So on this auspicious day, dear devotees, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is coming down to give 3 things through the chanting of the holy name. First is Manjari Bhav. How Manjari Bhav? Because it is a secret expression of the love that the Manjaris have for Krishna. Second, he is giving us Vrindavan Krishna, who has a beautiful peacock feather here. And third, he is giving us Vrindavan Dham. So on this day, we have to be so indebted to Gauranga Mahaprabhu for bestowing to this world 3 unparalleled gifts that were never given by anyone. Na bhuto, na bhavishyati. Never in the past, never in the future. So we wrap up our discussion by offering our humble obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with one last prayer. I am sorry, I know we have gone over time, but there is one last prayer that we can add to our daily set of prayers to beseech Lord Gauranga that may one day come in our lives where we also get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we all can have a call and response without unmuting our mics. Our acharyas, they very beautifully say, Vishwam Gaura Rase Magnam Sparshopi Mama Na Bhavet Vanchitosmi 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 Na Samshaya. What does this mean? Our acharyas say, Vishwam Gaura Rase Magnam. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years back, Vishwam Gaura Rase Magnam. He swept the whole world with Gaur Prem. He swept the whole world with Krishna Prem. He swept the whole world with Radha Prem. But Sparshopi Mama Na Bhavet. But somehow I was not touched by even a drop of that love. Everyone got that love of Godhead, including Jagai and Madhai. But somehow I am so fallen that Sparshopi Mama Na Bhavet. What to speak of that ocean? Even one drop from that ocean did not come in my life. Vanchitosmi, Vanchitosmi, Vanchitosmi na samshaya. I was cheated, I was cheated, I was cheated. Na samshaya, there is no doubt. That Supreme Lord who gave his mercy even to Jagai and Madhai, he considers me so fallen that he did not give me love of Godhead. So we can chant this beautiful prayer every day to our Gauranga Mahaprabhu and beg and pray to him that, my dear Lord, may that day arise in the calendar when I will know that Krishna Prem has been bestowed upon me by your causeless mercy. Having said this, I stop here. I once again thank all the devotees for very kindly staying on the call. And I once again apologize to all the devotees and the organizers for going over time. But there was so much more that we can discuss on this auspicious day of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. But because of time constraint, I would like to stop here. If there were any flaws, which I definitely believe there were, as Saragrahi Vaishnavas, I beg at your feet to kindly forgive me of those flaws. And if there were any corrections, any mistakes that I made in this discussion, kindly feel free to raise your hand and correct me so that I don't make these mistakes in the future discussions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Patita Pavan Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Austin Vedic Cultural Sangha ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.